of the world's watches are made here, including the one you're wearing right now. Many big brand watches are produced or sourced for parts from here. This place is Shenzhen City, the world watch capital city.
So where do these fancy luxury watches really come from? Are those $30,000 Rolexes flexing on the wrists of the elite actually handcrafted Swiss treasures? Or, hold up, were they just quietly churned out in some Chinese factory squeezed in next to 5,000 identical twins with a production cost of, get this, a measly $70? Spill the tea, because this is getting wild.
You pay $4,400 for a Mites Tudor Black Bay monochrome. You pay almost $10,000 for a Rolex of Mariner. And a Royal Oak extra thin, it costs like $36,000. Cheap is not a word that applies.
The watch is often blurred. However, when you come to Guangzhou, you cannot see any problem just by looking at the appearance. What you need to be careful about is that the low quality movement inside will be sold at a high price.
My suggestion is you can try it first or buy it for a legal way. I'm Sean. See you next time.
The truth is creeping out, and it's way juicier than you'd ever guess. Because the way Chinese manufacturers are ripping the curtain off the luxury watch game's dirty little secrets, straight up mind-blowing, what used to be hush-hush gossip whispered in the shadows is now full-on, out-loud confessions. A scandal so massive it's shaking the luxury watch world to its core, exposing the dark truths those big-name brands have buried for decades. Too much has been laid bare. It's messy, it's loud, and, let's be real, it's downright embarrassing. Things got so intense that Rolex, the untouchable king of luxury and class, was backed into a corner like never before. For the first time in history, the Swiss giant had to drop a bombshell. They're slashing prices on a slew of their prized watches. Insiders are spilling the tea, risking their jobs to tell it like it is. Furious buyers are demanding refunds. And the real value of those watches you drop tens of thousands on? Yeah, it's got a massive question mark hanging over it. What the heck is going on? What's the real deal behind that Swiss-made label? Buckle up, because we're about to peel back the ugly truth behind those luxury timepieces where the line between art and straight-up deception is blurry as hell. You ready to face the reality? A truth so raw it might change how you look at your luxury watch forever. But before we dive headfirst into the spicy details, the loopholes, and all the drama, let's hit rewind for a sec and get to the real heart of this chaos. It's time to take a trip to the actual watch capital of the world. Spoiler alert, it ain't Switzerland. Think about it. You probably grew up believing the finest watches rolled straight out of Switzerland, right?
And in Shenzhen, you must not miss this factory.
Asking y'all should receive. Tisa, where are the watch manufacturers? I did some digging and I found the watch manufacturers. There is a new scandal coming out of the luxury watch division. Listen, if you want to keep going to Rolex, if you want to keep going to AP and spending your money, go and do that. However, industry insiders are coming out, and I have their videos. People have even been fired from it for lifting the hood away from the...
Ditch the fairy tale of skilled old craftsmen tucked away in the snowy Alps, hunched over with magnifying glasses, handcrafting every Rolex with love. Forget Switzerland. That's just the cozy story luxury brands want you to swallow. The real heart of the global watch game. It's not in Geneva or Zurich. Look way further. Welcome to Shenzhen, the true beating pulse of the watch industry. This tech-fueled megacity is quietly pumping out the lion's share of watches that later get slapped with a Swiss-made label and sold for hundreds of times their actual cost. This isn't just some industry whisper anymore, it's the truth busting wide open. Some brave souls who dared to speak out, yeah, they paid a steep price, fired on the spot, for spilling secrets the luxury giants don't want you to know. What are they saying about Rolex, Audemars Piguet, or Patek Philippe? Sure, you can keep dropping stacks on those pricey timepieces, but the real story behind them, it's going to make you rethink everything.
Most Swiss watches are actually made in China, and the reason that replicas often look just as good as the original is that they are made in the same factory.
They offer a wider range of styles to choose from, maintain strict production standards, and can support customization, starting from just 50 pieces. What? Worry about them are just middlemen? You contact them directly.
And no, we're not just talking about some cheap knockoffs here, we're diving into the raw truth behind the real deal. The cold hard fact? Most of those Swiss-made watches are actually made, or at the very least assembled, with parts straight out of China, mostly Shenzhen. These aren't those $30 flea market fakes you'd spot a mile away. Nah, these are masterpieces crafted from top-tier materials, scratch-proof sapphire glass, perfectly polished ceramic bezels, buttery smooth metal bracelets, and dials so flawless you'd need a magnifying glass to tell them apart from the original. We're talking legit, high-quality components churned out in massive quantities with a precision Switzerland can't even dream of touching. And here's the biggest secret the luxury watch world's been hiding. Some Shenzhen factories are allegedly supplying parts for heavyweights like Omega, Tag Heuer, Tissot, and according to some whispers, even Rolex itself. These watches are built with components that are nearly identical, if not exactly the same, as the so-called luxury ones. The gap between a $70 watch and a $30,000 one? It's not about quality or materials, it's all about that brand name and the fancy Swiss-made stamp. And here's where it gets nuts. Some of these factories are done playing coy. They're so confident in their game that they're openly throwing down the gauntlet, challenging the Swiss giants to step up or shut up. They're not hiding anymore, they're straight up flexing now, taking custom orders directly from the public like it's no big deal. That means you can skip the snooty boutique shops with their velvet ropes and go right to the source for your luxury timepiece. An insider spilled to us how these Chinese manufacturers are out here coaching potential buyers with the same slick charm you'd expect from a high-end watch shop. It's wild.
Watches come in different sizes. A small dial makes your wrist slimmer, while a large one makes you a stronger arrow. First of all, you need to determine your budget range. The Rolex Data Dress is the best choice for cost-effective.
Sound familiar? It's the exact same pitch you'd get at a Rolex showroom: sophistication, class, timeless quality, except for one tiny detail: the price. When those watches you see in fancy boutiques are priced from $6,000 to over $30,000, what are you really paying for? Spoiler alert, it's that shiny Swiss-made label. But here's the million-dollar question. If your luxury watch is mostly pieced together in China, why is it rocking a Swiss-made stamp? Let me put you on game. That Swiss-made label, it's one of the slickest loopholes in fashion history. Most folks think it means the whole watch was handcrafted in Switzerland in some quaint little workshop steeped in tradition. Yeah, not quite. No matter what the luxury brands want you to believe, Swiss-made doesn't mean the entire watch was born in a cozy Swiss chalet. Nope. According to Swiss law, only 60% of the watch's value has to come from Switzerland to slap on that label. Let me say that again, value, not the actual product. And guess what counts as value? Branding, marketing, research, and get this, even just popping the movement into the case once it lands in Geneva. That's it. Picture this: a Shenzhen factory builds the Omega case, bracelet, dial, the whole 9 yards, and ships it out, basically done. Then some guy in Switzerland drops in the movement, gives it a quick polish, and bam, it's officially Swiss-made. That's why you're shelling out thousands for a luxury watch that's mostly made in China. You're not just paying for the physical product, you're buying the brand's story, the slick marketing, and that elite vibe the Swiss-made label screams. Luxury brands have been milking this rule for years to create that exclusive glow while keeping production costs low. Don't get it twisted, this isn't some fresh scandal, it's just how the luxury game has been played for years. The scandal didn't just pop off overnight. It started as quiet whispers on Reddit, spread like wildfire on TikTok, and now it's blowing up with insider exposés like a full-on true crime series on Netflix. One former employee spilled that he worked for a major Swiss watch brand and got canned just for asking too many questions why about what was really going on. Shady much? Alright, buckle up, because this tea is piping hot. This guy? Fired. Sacked. Kicked to the curb. Why? All because he couldn't stop asking questions while restoring vintage watches from the 70s. And what he found? Oh, it's wild. Turns out, even back then, a ton of parts were coming straight out of Asia. He's got receipts too, photos of straps, hands, dials, all stamped made in China. And the movement? Sometimes it was legit Swiss, but other times, a cheap $5 quartz piece slapped in at the last second like it's no big deal. Crazy, right? This scandal runs way deeper than anyone thought. So you're probably wondering, if this is such a massive deal, why aren't the big magazines or mainstream media screaming about it? Easy. The luxury watch world is a cash cow. Brands like Rolex, Omega, and Cartier are dropping millions on ads every year. You think those glossy mags are going to bite the hand that feeds them? Not a chance. It gets worse. The watch bloggers and influencers, they're living the high life, flown out to Basel World, the biggest watch expo on the planet. Gifted free timepieces, treated like royalty at brand events. You think any of them are risking their next free Rolex to spill the truth? Nah, they're too busy posing for the gram. That's why it's up to the underdogs now. YouTubers like Misty, TikTokers, and even anonymous factory workers who are done staying quiet. They're the ones ripping back the curtain and showing you what's really going down behind all that luxury glitz. And just when everyone thought Rolex was untouchable, boom, they pulled a move nobody saw coming. They slashed their prices. Oh, you heard that right. Rolex, the brand that never goes on sale, just pulled a move straight out of a plot twist nobody saw coming. Yup, they quietly dropped prices, and it's got the watch world buzzing. Not across the board, mind you, but enough to make folks go, hold up, what's good? Deep dives on watch forums and whispers from high-end dealers spill the tea. Certain Rolex models like the Submariner GMT Master 2 and some Oyster Perpetuals got slashed by up to 20% in select markets. This ain't no loud, flashy clearance sale. Rolex doesn't roll like that. Nah, they kept it smooth and sneaky, sliding these discounts through authorized dealers in specific spots like it's some undercover operation. But the watch nerds, they clocked it instantly. And the timing? Oh, it's spicy. Right after that Chinese expose went viral, blowing the lid off their supply chain secrets. Here's the kicker. The models getting these price cuts, they're the exact ones popping off in the replica world, or let's be real, those unbranded near-identical joints. Coincidence? Pruffed, please. You don't just wake up and slash prices for giggles, especially not Rolex, a brand built on hype, exclusivity, and that you can't have it flex. Dropping prices right when their supply chain drama hits fever pitch? Yeah, that's panic mode, baby. Want to add a Rolex to your collection? Here's the lowdown on the 5 cheapest Rolexes you can snag right now. First up, the 36mm Datejust Model 16220 with an engine-turned bezel, coming in at about $6,500. Next, the 36mm Datejust Model 1614, rocking a blue dial and fluted bezel, priced around $6,200. This hush-hush price drop hitting at the peak of their supply chain mess. It's got luxury fans sweating. The whole high-fashion game thrives on mystery, making you crave what's out of reach. But now, that illusion's been ripped to shreds. People are out here asking, why drop $10,000 on a watch when I can get something almost identical for a tenth of the price? The curtain's down and the game's changed. Yo, buckle up, because this is about to get wild. The factories, the real muscle behind those big-name brands, they're done playing middleman. No more splitting the fat profits with the luxury giants. They're cutting them out, and it's a straight-up power move. Here's the deal. Happening right now, consumers and factories are linking up in hush-hush Telegram groups, WeChat circles, and secret WhatsApp chats. Smart buyers aren't queuing up at fancy boutiques or coughing up insane cash for luxury goods anymore. Nope, they're going straight to the source. The factory's pumping out the exact same products the big brands slap their logos on. And here's the juicy part. They're not even calling it fake anymore. Oh no, the game's leveled up. Now they've got slick names for it: factory direct, B-grade homage, same line release, parallel build, or unbranded OEM, original equipment manufacturer. These aren't just code words to dodge the truth, they're a flex. It's like saying, we're making the same high-quality stuff, but without the sky-high brand tax. And get this, an anonymous insider dropped a bombshell. Some Chinese suppliers are allegedly snagging leftover materials from legit Rolex production runs. Instead of tossing them, they finish the job and sling these watches on the low for a fraction of retail. You heard that right, these aren't some cheap back-alley knockoffs. These are technically the real deal, crafted with the same materials, on the same production lines, by the same hands that work for the big dogs. The only thing missing? That official logo. The price? Try a 10th or even a 20th of what you'd pay at a boutique. It's a straight-up gut punch to the luxury industry, where brand hype gets priced higher than actual quality. But let's zoom out for a sec and look at the big picture. Luxury brands like Rolex, part of mega conglomerates like Richemont, Swatch Group, or LVMH, didn't just build empires on quality. They're selling a vibe, a dream of success, power, and status.
And that dream.
It costs way more than you'd think. Now brace for an Oscar-worthy plot twist: Rolex is a non-profit. Yup, you read that right. On paper, they're a charitable foundation, keeping their financials under wraps, never flexing revenue, and playing the humble card. But don't let that fool you. Just because they're not out here stunting like tech giants like Apple or Microsoft doesn't mean they're not raking it in. Trust me, Rolex is eating good. And they're doing it by convincing you that $15,000 watch on your wrist is the ultimate symbol of exclusivity, when the truth might make you want to scream. Let's talk numbers. The luxury watch game, think Swatch Group, Richemont, LVMH, usually pulls profit margins of 10% to 20%. Sounds reasonable, right? But stack that against the real money makers. Apple's chilling at 32%, Microsoft's at 38%, and Novo Nordisk, the folks behind Ozempic, is clocking 39%. Suddenly that $15,000 Rolex doesn't seem that crazy, does it? But hold up, don't start feeling sorry for Rolex. They're not the underdog here. They're playing a whole different game, and you and I, we're just pawns. So here's the no billion-dollar question. How much does it really cost to make a Rolex? Word from industry insiders, folks who've worked the factory floors, is chilling a Rolex selling for $6,000 might only cost $1,200 to $1,500 to produce. Yup, less than 25% of the sticker price. And that's before the dealer markups and that sneaky luxury tax, aka we charge this because we can.
So check this out. China's not really saying anything new to me. I have plenty of things from China.
Some brands keep it real. Christopher Ward, a British watchmaker, flexes that they never charge more than 3 times their production cost. Omega, the Swiss big shot, bumps it up to about 4 times. But Rolex? Oh, the experts are whispering they're jacking up prices 5 times or more. Are they stroking cats in a James Bond villain lair? Nah, not quite. But don't act like they're just breaking even. They're swimming in cash, and you, the consumer, are footing the bill for their whole empire glitzy ad campaigns, celebrity ambassadors, and that sweet, sweet illusion of exclusivity. But let's get real for a sec. Not everything that looks pricey actually is. Ever scrolled Insta and spotted a Rolex for $60? You're like, yo, this could pass. Pump the brakes and hear the harsh truth. Those knockoffs are basically dollar store toys dressed up in luxury dreams. The movement inside? Some no-name junk ticking like a broken metronome. Water resistance? Forget it. One steamy shower and that glass is fogged up. The metal? Cheap alloys that'll scratch if you sneeze on them. The weight? Way off like you're rocking flea market jewelry. And the finishing? No Swiss craftsman in a snowy chalet touched that mess. Here's the scarier part. Rocking a fake doesn't just fool others, it fools you. Picture this, you strut into a room full of watch nerds, where legit Rolexes, Patek Philippe's, and Audemars Piguets are gleaming. One flick of light, and your Rolex is exposed. The hands don't sweep smoothly, the lume's non-existent, and that logo? One sharp-eyed collector clocks the fraud. Your confidence? Gone. You're not the star of the show anymore, you're just someone trying to fake it. That's the real cost of playing pretend. So why, even knowing all this, do we still line up, wait months, even years for a luxury watch? Be honest, why do you want a Rolex? To tell time? Nah, at $20 Casio's got that covered. You want it because it makes you feel special, successful, different. Luxury brands know this, and they've turned our cravings into a billion-dollar game. It's not just watches they're selling, it's a dream. A Rolex isn't just a timekeeper, it's a badge of success, power, and distinction. Wear one, and you feel like you're in an exclusive club where only the worthy get in. Check their marketing game. Ads with rugged dudes conquering oceans, elegant ladies slaying at high society galas, all crafted to hit your ego. They make you believe owning a luxury watch transforms you into a better version of yourself. Get waitlisted or hit with a priority fee from a dealer, that just makes you want it more. It's not random, it's psychological warfare calculated to make you shell out insane cash just to feel elite. But what's going down now? On one side, luxury brands are slinging dreams at cutthroat prices, banking on our thirst for status and greed. On the flip, a quiet revolution's brewing. Savvy consumers are flipping the script, buying straight from factories at a sliver of retail. These factory direct watches are near perfect, but is this a win for the people? Or just a new spin on greed where we're still chasing luxury, whether it's factory or authentic? Ask yourself, what are you really buying? If you think it's pure craftsmanship, innovation, or legacy, you might be let down. Not every luxury watch is the engineering marvel it's hyped to be. Some brands just slap together off-the-shelf parts, stamp a famous logo, and double the price. They're not reinventing the wheel, they're coasting on reputation. Take a big-name watch using a standard ETA movement, same as mid-tier brands but priced to the moon because of the badge. Meanwhile, brands like Patek Philippe or Audemars Piguet pour real artistry into proprietary movements and meticulous craftsmanship, earning their art status. The bigger question is a watch's value in its build or the story the brand spins. As the luxury industry's secrets spill out, we're forced to face a bitter truth. We're not just buying a product, we're buying an illusion, priced way higher than its actual worth. That's the game. But here's the big but. Once you know what you're paying for, it hits different. You're not just buying steel and sapphire, you're buying access, status, that quiet flex. That feeling when you walk into a room and heads turn because of what's shining on your wrist. For some, that's priceless. So, are luxury watches overpriced? Technically, hell yeah. Emotionally, that's on you. Standing in front of a gleaming Rolex or a near-perfect factory watch for a fraction of the cost, what do you pick? A dream wrapped in a brand, or a truth freed from the chains of greed? Your choice says more about you than the watch. Now you know the real deal. You see how luxury brands play on greed and pride, turning timekeepers into status symbols. You see the gap between cheap fakes, factory gems, and the real thing, but more importantly, you get that even the real might not be worth what you thought. The call is to rethink. Next time you're about to drop thousands on a luxury watch, ask, what am I paying for? Top-tier quality, or a story spun to make me feel special? Real value, or an overpriced logo? And most crucially, do I need this to feel confident and successful? Yo, let's wrap this up with some real talk. This ain't just about watches, it's about how we define value. A fake or factory watch might let you flex for a hot minute, but it's not building lasting confidence. A shiny luxury piece could just be a fancy shell for your ego. Instead, pick something that screams you. A mid-tier Seiko or Citizen with a rock-solid movement and sleek design can spark just as much joy as a Rolex. Real value isn't in the logo or the price tag, it's in the story you tell with what's on your wrist. Confidence comes from knowing who you are, not from trying to prove it to the world. Once you get that, the power's not in the brand or the watch, it's in you. So what story are you going to tell? If this breakdown hit you in the feels, smash that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop your wildest watch story in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.